They open up in the snowstorm in Omaha, and the first thing you see is pockets. Here he goes. So, and then the second thing you see is our new friend, Hong Kong Phooey, Spitball Bailey, the dollar store steamboat. What the? He's so small on his entrance, they had to use a telescopic lens, Brian. It's like he was right next to Alpha Centauri. That's the only way we could see. What the ridiculous fist in the hand pose is he wearing on you already? The smile, the pose, the weird, dorkish look, the minute physical appearance, he's like, I hate to say this, but he's like if Kenny was even more unappealing. He does more of Kenny shit and he's smaller. He's like a little nugget Kenny.
Well, I could say I'm looking forward to your future reviews of his matches, the way that's been going the last couple of weeks. But
Christ on a cracker.
I go back to what I said previously. I wasn't joking. I think Tony should, as a way of branding and just a way to differentiate yourself from WWE, should really go for having a middleweight division and putting a lot of these guys that when you watch them on TV in the ring with a Mark Davis, who's gigantic, it just, again, I know early UFC, small guys can beat big guys. I get it. And David versus Goliath, and lots of booking throughout the years. However, if every guy, Orange Cassidy is just about the same size as Speedball Mike Bailey. And there are plenty of other guys.
I think he's a little taller. He's a little taller. Maybe, you got to give him that.
But very slight. And there are a lot of people like that. Jack Perry, there's a lot of people in AEW that
forgot about him. He's with his buddies in Cucamonga playing video games, getting paid because they took their ball and went home.
He's
right?
Hanging out with Anna Jay. She's off TV too. It was one of these Tony Khan vacations until he brings everyone back.
She took his balls and they went home.
Maybe so.
The thing is, okay, and you bring this up. There, you got pockets. You got Hong Kong Phooey. Here comes Mark Davis. His ass weighs as much as all three of these other guys. And then here's Ricochet. So it looks like Mark Davis brought his 3 delinquent children on a field trip. But it's not a middleweight division wouldn't solve it because Conor McGregor, I don't know what he's weighing in at these days, but he's got some heavy burdens. But he's a different kind of 180 pounds or whatever than this fucking grinning simpleton. Playing again a cross between Ricky Steamboat, Bruce Lee, and a video game character. And they have a 4-way where the winner gets a shot at what title Kenny has. He just won a belt, one of the belts.
International.
There you go. And it's a 4-way to get a shot at that against Kenny, where you've got 3 gymnasts and a fucking behemoth. And they go into the phony choreography. And I figured, let's see what the rest of the program holds for us. Because if I treated this like real pro wrestling, it would take me 2 hours to pick it apart. Because I would do it like we would do it in a wrestling school class. But actually, I wouldn't do that in a real wrestling school class because I would fire everybody involved in this after the first fucking minute. But again, finally, they do a deal where Ricochet and Spitball both pin Mark Davis. So they made both of them winners, and they made the match with Twinkle Toes for whatever title a 3-way. Between the 3 biggest goddamn acrobatic swing dancers in the company. So can you imagine the silliness that's going to be on display in that show? But 30 minutes, the first 30 minutes of this program was 3 goofy kids and a job guy. And forget about the weight categories. Just make it, be honest, children's wrestling, by children, for children. Even if we're not chronologically children, we have childlike minds. So mentally, we're still children. And we're the size of children. And the only people that this appeals to is children that are about to enter the sport of gymnastics. Because it's a bunch of choreographed tripe. No wonder wrestling lost all the UFC crossover. I think we've safely avoided any crossover between any of this horse shit and any kind of real fucking fight. 30 minutes, Brian. What have I missed that the people are just loving about that display of?
There was a spot where Mark Davis picked up Orange Cassidy by the feet and brought him into a pile driver that looked really good. But it wasn't even the best pile driver on this show, actually, now that I think about it. This went a while. You know, I was thinking, how are they going to beat Speedball Mike Bailey if they just brought this guy in and they want to do something with him? But then again, you're going to have him beat these other guys and get a match with Kenny, and they got around that. I'll say, Tony's finishes are getting worse and worse. Obviously, they wanted to set up a three-way here, but the Moxley matches, one on this show, not just the finishes, but the things happening around the finishes.
Well, now, I don't think we can blame Tony for Moxley. I think Moxley, this is his art being expressed in real time, sort of like after a fucking enema, after a dinner at Taco Bell, is expressed in real time. But they want to be cute. They all want to be cute if every match has to be cute in some description.
But I guess my point is, if they're going to sign all these guys, and at a certain point, it may be all they can get because of what WWE's doing to lock down the industry, because of the decline in Japanese wrestling, a whole number of things. If all the guys you're going to be able to sign, or a lot of them, are smaller guys, should AEW do something to take advantage of that? Instead of it just being like, we'll pretend everyone's a heavyweight, should they do something to differentiate themselves from WWE?
Okay, I was being a smart ass earlier, but I will answer it seriously now. That might even be something they could do, but that's not the answer here, because there is not a lot of money in these people at any fucking weight, because not of the what they weigh, but because of their level or lack thereof of charisma, of talent, of ability to get over, of not being repetitious. And Bailey looks like a fucking dork. Guys don't want to be him, and fucking women don't want to fuck him. So he's fucked as a baby face.
I thought you were talking about Bailey and WWE for a second. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
No, Spitball here. I'm not bringing her in. No, I bet a bunch of women would like to fuck her.
Anyway,
but nevertheless,
back to, yes.
It's talent, it's charisma, it's personality, it's ability to fucking speak. It's not having this indie mindset of these repetitive video game fucking goofy matches that appeal to the same people that are going to see this. The talent changes in AEW regularly, but all the ratings do is go down because they've already done everything you can fucking do, and now they've just got the replacement people doing some more of it. They don't make stars. They make moments and big bumps off the fucking roof. They don't develop stories and rivalries. They have dream matches. It's just all meaningless. Tony can't pick talent. Inmates run the asylum. So it doesn't matter what size they are. They're all going to have the same problem. They do the same shit as everybody else does because they're all a bunch of indie fucking wrestlers. Outlaw, as the old saying goes. And they can't be told that they don't know every fucking thing. And Tony makes them believe that they're goddamn God's gift to wrestling with the way he treats them. Well, Jesus Christ, the money that he's paying people that don't even show up to work, or that he flies in from other countries for 2 or 3 shows a month, and they don't make any difference. It's the same it's always been, or less. Less crowds in the house shows, less people watching TV, same kind of thing on the pay-per-view, because that's the real litmus test. Those people would rather not pay their rent than buy these pay-per-views. So, yeah.
And I just told you I'm sick of the three-way matches because they set up the Roman Punk and Rollins one, and the Rhea, Io, and
now
Bianca one, and now here's this.
There's 3 people that can do flips instead of 2 people, so it'll be even an even bigger match and even greater. All right, let's move on because we got to get to the meat of the matter.